Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of FSI DFS Major League Baseball coverage. I'm Mega Ruler 31, and today on Tuesday, 4/27, we have a massive 13-game slate tonight, starting at 7:05 p.m. So lots of pitching options. You have a 13-game slate. We actually have 27 pitchers because Toronto's going with opener and a long reliever. So the nice thing also is it doesn't look like there's any weather issues. So let's just jump right into pitching. And when you have so many pitchers, you're going to have to make some choices here. Obviously, you can't play everybody unless you're playing 150 lineups. So we've got three pitchers up top that are pretty much studs. Not super expensive. Everybody's under 11K. You've got Matt Scherzer at 10.9, Walker Buehler at 10.2, and Lucas Giolito at 9.5. I think out of them, my favorite pitcher on the slate would be Giolito. Um, I know he was bad versus Boston last time out, but I think this is definitely a great rebound spot for him today against Detroit. Detroit does not have any plate discipline. There's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. They have a total of 2.83. The opposing pitcher that they're going up against is very bad, so definitely the win equities there. Scherzer would be the second one I would like on the list. They go against a Toronto team. Again, the Toronto team is the home team, but they're playing in not a major league ballpark. They do have some power. They have struggled against right-handers this year. So I think Scherzer, definitely has pure upside for scoring on this slate, but I'd rather take the savings and go with Giolito. But Scherzer is definitely a great play. Walker Buehler, the third one in line there, I'm most skeptical about. He's against a Cincinnati team who's pretty patient at the plate. Not a ton of strikeouts there, and they have a decent lineups. And as we've talked about with Dodger pitchers, they have such a great bullpen that the starting pitchers have such a short leash that I don't know if I want to pay 10-2 for him and only have him go 5 innings compared to Giolito, who might go like 7. Looking at the mid-range, I think you're really not going to land here. I think this would be more GPP, but Javier, he's only 200 less than Giolito. He'd definitely be a pivot if you're looking for ownership off of Giolito, who's going to be a higher owned pitcher. He has big K upside in this matchup, but I think, against Seattle, he's going to have a very low ownership, only being 200 less than Giolito. So if you're looking for a pivot off him, Javier in the mid-range, Eflin against Philadelphia, probably going to put a strong, heavy right-handed lineup out there. There are some Ks in that lineup. He's been solid to start the year, hasn't really been walking people much. So I like that. Even though St. Louis has hit at times, I don't think this is going to be one of the times. Ian Anderson, we liked high targeting pitchers against the Cubs. He is 8-6, which isn't bad. He ranks 5th on the slate in K rate with a 28.5%. So he's definitely somebody else in tournaments if you're looking to pivot off, or if you don't want to go 2 stud pitchers, if you could find a lot of value bats and want to go Scherzer or Giolito, that could be one strategy. If you want to go mid-range, I think Anderson is probably the lowest I would go in mid-range at 8.6. I will not be playing Kluber. He's been too erratic. Williams, no. Hauser, no. Hoffman against the Dodgers, no. Walker's been solid against Oakland, but not keen on him there. David Peterson is 7.5 for the Mets against Boston. Now, Boston does lose the DH going into National League Park. It is more of a hitter's park, but Boston lineup is still decent. I think it's an okay matchup, but I just don't love it. And then we come to Frankie Montas. I think Frankie Montas is my absolute favorite SB2 on this slate. 7.3. He's going up against a Tampa Bay team in the pitcher's park. They have strong K upside. He's got a long leash. He's got over 100 pitches. I know he struggled a little bit early in the season, but he wanted to go up against good lineups. He had Minnesota, he had Houston, he had the Dodgers. Now, he gets the Tampa Bay team, and he did really well against his last outing against Detroit. I think you can make a case for Aaron Sanchez at 7.2 versus Colorado. Colorado's lineup is probably the worst in baseball outside of Coors. So I like him there, but I think my favorite low price pitcher at 6.5 is Jose Quintana. I don't expect the world out of him, but he definitely has strong K upside against the lefties, and all the power in Texas lineups are these left-handed bats. And the last game out that he pitched against them, he did quite well. So I think Quintana gives you a great savings if you want to try to get some of the expensive bats in tonight. So speaking of bats, there's lots of good situations, of course, being such a large slate. Atlanta looks like a good spot. Again, and they put up several runs last night. Trevor Williams is not a good pitcher. So definitely Freeman, if you want to stack there, they're a little bit pricey. They have a 4.78 total. I think the Mets are in a good situation. Garrett Richards has been horrible to start the season. He's bad from both sides of the plate, so it's puts everybody into play. So Nemo up top leading off, 3-7's not bad. Lindor, the switch hitter. Dominic Smith at 4. Alonso 5-3 is a little bit pricey, but he could definitely hit a home run off of Richards. He's been bad, like I said, with lefty and righty. So there's a stack there that I don't think is going to be super popular. The Yankees have a 5.53 total. I know they have been cold. They look like they're in a great spot against Harvey last night, but as I've come to realize that Harvey isn't as bad of a pitcher as he's been recently, but Bruce Zimmerman is, and he's a lefty. So I definitely like the righty bats and the Yankees. I think I don't think they'll be my main stack, but I think I will have a stack of them in play going up against Baltimore. And even looking at the other Baltimore side of the ball, if you're looking for some cheaper bats, Mullins, Stewart, Mancini, Hayes. I mean, Mancini's 4.6, but it isn't 5K. But DJ Stewart at 2.9. I know he got 0 yesterday, but he's in a good spot. Hayes at 2.8. There's definitely some cheaper bats I'd consider on that team. We did say Peterson is definitely in play for pitching wise, but Boston, if you want to take some of the right-handed bats as one-offs, definitely could be in play against him. So Philadelphia, I think if McKinley 412 was here, he'd definitely be recommending them. So got to stay with his cause, and it makes sense. St. Louis, Carlos Martinez, he has been bad giving up hits to both sides of the plate also. So, there's a lot of good right-handers here. McCutchen's still too cheap leading off at 3.7. Rice Hoskin has been super hot. I think he leads the league in home runs. So I would take him there. Harper at 6 is a little pricey, but if you're playing the whole stack, Real Muto, DD, Bomb, even at 4K, has some power there. So definitely a Philly stack is in play. I really like them. You have your regular teams too that you'd stack up. The Angels against Texas, they're definitely a good spot there. We don't know if we'll have Ohtani or not, if he's going to sit out after pitching yesterday. But having Rodon back in the lineup, Trout, Fletcher, Walsh, Upton, even though he was down the lineup a little bit. But Boom's always a good cheap catcher at 2.6. So definitely like them there against Fultonevich, who is a struggling pitcher. And let's see, Chicago White Sox, as I said earlier, they have the win upside for Giolito. They're a really good, the lefties against him, even the switch hitting lefties. So like Eaton, Moncada, Grandal, really, really like them. Might take a couple other guys because this Detroit bullpen's horrible. So full White Sox stack, really, really like them. They might be one of the best, actually one of the sneakiest ones on the slate, because I think people look at some of the other run totals like the Yankees at 5 and gravitate there. The Mets at 4.85. You'll see a high total. The Braves at 4.78. You kind of might lose the White Sox at 4.67, but I think definitely they're one that I like. Houston, I think, will be popular too against Gonzalez. They put up some runs last night. They show that they can hit left-hand pitching really well. However, they are super pricey. The top 3 guys in the lineup, actually, look at these prices. Holy cow. Altuve, 5. Brantley, 5.4. He's gone way up. Bregman, 5.2. Gurriel's 4.8. He's a cheap one of the bunch. Alvarez, 5.2. Carlos Correa, 5.6. So I think they're definitely more of a GPP. You'd have to find like reasonably priced pitchers For them, probably you'd have to take like the Sanchez Quintana or Montas Quintana if you want to get that stack in. So it just seems like outrageously high. Favorite stack on the slate besides the White Sox is definitely going to be the Padres. They've got a 5 total against Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly's a reverse blitz pitcher. So these righties are definitely in play. Tatis is super hot, Machado, but even the lefties also, like Cronenworth is so cheap in this lineups too. It's still 3.5. The catcher, Camposano, if he's in at 2.7. Love the Padres there. So if you're looking for some cheap bats to try to get some of these expensive bats in, Milwaukee is against a low K pitcher. They are very cheap. They've got some guys filling in as for injuries. So up top Wong leading off at 4-1 isn't bad, but Tyrone Taylor, if he's in at 2-4, Garcia at 3-5 against the righty. So I guess Wong would be a great play at 4-1, being a lefty on lefty matchup. But Pena, if he's catching and batting fourth at 3-5, that's an awesome value for a catcher. Herrera, 4K. So I like some value bats there. I also like some value bats on Arizona. Paddock has only gone about 5 innings. He struggled with some control. Some of these bats are pretty cheap. We've always liked Calhoun. He's a power hitter at only 2.8, gets the splits matchup. Van Meter 2.5, sprinkle them in there, but probably the favorite value stack of the day besides Milwaukee and some of the Arizona bats is San Francisco. They got a 4.49 total. They're all reasonably priced. 4-1 and 4K are the highest price. Chichin Gonzalez is a bad pitcher. La Stella, Dickerson, Belt, Crawford. There's a lot of cheap bats in here that you can fill in or do a mini stack and get some of the higher price bats in from these other teams to be successful. The only other thing batting wise to mention is if you're an A's fan and you want to stack them, that they're up against Walker, who's a reverse pitcher. So Olsen doesn't and Moreland aren't ones that I like as much. I'd rather go with Chapman and Loriano and Cotto for that. So appreciate you guys watching, and thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm MegaRuler31. Leave us a comment here or give us me a shout out on Twitter at MegaRuler31, and we'll see what we can do to try to help you with your lineups or any questions that you have. If we see any scratches or anything, we'll try to throw them in the comments there. And check us out at fssdfs.com. We've got lots of great free stuff there besides our premium content where we help you with cores and give you updates and help you build your lineup to be successful in playing DFS. So again, appreciate you watching, and it's a big slate. Lots of great options. So hopefully this video has helped. And if it has, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.